Bernardi Auto, they've got Audis, Hondas, and Toyotas.
Yeah.
They are the ones who sponsor who Mazz thinks is a fraud and who's for real. Mazz's tears.
Yeah, those are the tears of the clown.
Mazz's tears.
The second tier.
Hold on, let me get my pen.
Mazz's tears.
Dallas. Buffalo. Tennessee.
Mazz's tears.
Third tier.
Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me get my pen.
Mazz's tears. Tears. Tears.
Mazz's Tears brought to you by the Bernardi Automotive Group. Come into any of Bernardi's 5 locations and celebrate summer. Whether it's a new Audi, Acura, Honda, Toyota, or Volvo, Bernardi has the perfect vehicle for you and always at a great price. Mazz, take it away.
Okay, again, so tiers this week are most notable Fathletes, is what we call them.
Fathletes.
It's tough to pronounce athletes with fat because it's Fathletes.
Yep.
But Fathletes is what we're going to call them. And we divided this particular group into 4 tiers. There's a lot of ways you can get on this list. For example, like you said, so are these good athletes? Are these bad athletes? Are these fat slobs? Are these guys who were just a little chunky and could carry it? Like, what's the deal? So we gave each tier a name. We're going to start with tier 4. And tier 4 is known as lovably fat. These are guys that were fat, but we liked them, and they look good fat.
Lovably fat.
Yeah, Louis Tiant, kind of pudgy.
Yep.
But very likable pitcher. Rich Garces, El Guapo, another one. John Kruk, who when he was with the Phillies, came out for batting practice once, and there was an old lady that said to him, "Hey, Kruk, what's wrong with you? Look at you. You're out of shape. Your shirt's hanging out. What kind of athlete are you?" He said, "Hey, lady, I'm no athlete. I'm a baseball player." So he belongs in the lovably fat category. George Foreman, boxing champion, was kind of a tank. And I'm talking about the second incarnation of George Foreman. Alejandro Kirk, the catcher with the Blue Jays. Little, Murray, I don't know what you'd call him, a weeble.
Yeah.
He's kind of a weeble
He's
out
like
there.
a fire hydrant.
Daniel Vogelback.
Good one.
Okay, whom is also
Good
known
one. We got a picture on the simulcast for you.
Danny Burgers. He's become an American favorite because he is a freaking tank, is what he is. Kirby Puckett.
He was adorably fat.
Yes, he was. Again, lovably fat.
Yeah.
Same sort of area. Fernando Valenzuela, another one, got fatter as he got older, but he was still likable because he was...
So these are fat guys that we liked and were okay being fat.
Correct.
And that would look weird if they lost a lot of weight. You know, like the actor Jonah Hill, now he's thin. It doesn't look right.
Yeah,
like if
exactly.
If Kirby Puckett was still alive and was thin, it'd be like, this doesn't look right.
Mike,
Jonah Hill?
Mike, have you seen the guy who plays on the tour now from South Africa? His name's Aldrich Potgieter or
No.
Geeter?
No.
You got to see this guy. He is a freaking cow, and he's pretty good. He hits the crap out of it, unsurprisingly. But he's got to drop about, I'd say, a good 60 or 70. If he did, he could be like all world. All right, tier 3. These are guys that I would call famously fat. And again, these are what I would call these
Famously
guys.
fat.
Yeah, not just lovable, but like
It was part of their brand.
Yeah, it was, and they were all timers. Babe Ruth is the easy one.
Yeah.
That goes way back, but we felt the need to include him on this list. Shaquille O'Neal, late in his career, got freaking huge, gigantic, and he's still kind of big now. Tony Gwynn, Google some photos of him and how fat he got. Vince Wilfork. Again, now...
This is a great example of someone who's lost too much weight. He don't look the same now. Now it kind of looks a little weird.
Vince Wilfork?
Yeah.
So now, I would say that, and someone emailed me about this too, that defensive linemen or linemen in general in football almost get...
Don't count, exactly.
They get special dispensation, although when we get to the real fat guys, like the really, really fat guys, we have a couple of them on the list. The fielders, father and son, Cecil and Prince, both fat guys who had good careers. Between them, over 630 home runs. I think they hit the exact same number of home runs. I actually, Patrick Mahomes is on this. I put him on for the purposes of
high,
triggering the list.
Too high. I don't know if he belongs on the tiers yet.
Okay, so
he's trending that.
Again, and I put him on tier 3 because he's been very successful, and all those guys were, for the most part, very successful. Okay, tier 2 is what I call fat to a fault. And these are the guys whose fatness ultimately did them in, or they got a little bit sloppy and really started to look kind of stupid. Bartolo Colon, at times looked like he swallowed an air hose, was gigantic, and his head was every bit as fat to match. Sean Kemp, do you remember him?
Oh, yeah. At the end, yeah.
Sean Kemp in his prime was a tremendous physical specimen.
Yeah. Looked like he could have played in the NFL in his prime.
He ballooned up like a tick. He just completely exploded. William the Refrigerator Perry, Luka Doncic, fat to a fault, has gotten really out of shape.
Fat to a fault.
Glenn Big Baby Davis played here with the Celtics. Raphael Devers, fat to a fault.
Fat to a fault.
Jamarcus Russell, number 1 pick, and a quarterback. You think Patrick Mahomes is pudgy? Go back and look at the pictures of Jamarcus Russell. Pablo Sandoval famously had to have a team employee sleep outside his room so he couldn't get room service on the road. David Wells.
Oh, yeah, you don't remember? That was the best.
I guess I did.
That when his belt burst.
Oh,
the
belt bursting, I remember. They had to station a guard outside the room so he wouldn't order
They
room
absolutely did. That is correct.
Awesome.
David Wells, who became a bit of a bubble late in his career. John Daly.
Okay, Daly wasn't lovably fat?
Yeah, to me, he's lovably fat.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Same with Wells. Wells is like a big fat party guy.
Daly got so fat and irresponsible, he kind of played himself out of a career. Zion Williamson.
Fat to a fault.
100% fat.
Belongs on this list. Josh Naylor with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I sort of forced this guy onto the list. Jonathan Broxton was sort of a highly touted reliever when he came up in Major League Baseball. Later in his career, he looked like Milliken. He looked absolutely freaking gigantic. Huge later in his career. All right, tier 1, these guys are I would just describe as downright huge.
The real pigs.
Like unnaturally huge. Some of that is just that they were big human beings. Ted Washington, the nose tackle with the Patriots, you remember him?
Of course. Yes.
One of the biggest human beings you'll ever see. Like literally took up 2 spots on the defensive line. He was freaking huge. Gilbert Brown, Mike, was
The Undertaker.
was with your, they called him The Undertaker?
Yes, they did.
He was with your Green Bay Packers.
He was good, too.
Yeah,
He was good. I remember the Fox broadcast once described him as being the only thing on earth made by man that could be seen from space. Gilbert Brown was gigantic, and Oliver Miller in the NBA, they called him, I think he became like the Big Fat O. He could have been a great player in the NBA and got so fat that he basically played himself out of the league. So we stopped at 25 names. I'm sure there are 25 others.
So many.
We could have got to 50, I
Easy.
feel like.
So many. And guys who deserve mention, who would you say were huge fat guys, but like
Phil Kessel.
Phil Kessel got fat.
Josh Beckett.
Good one.
Like, I think Josh Beckett is someone who could have had a much better career at the end, but he was fat. He got super soft. Remember when he went on the DL with the lat, which is basically he strained his back fat.
Back fat. Yeah.
Back
You
fat.
said he strained his back fat.
Yeah, he strained his back fat. That was Beckett. And look as time went on, he was holding more nuts in his cheeks. He just got fat. It hurt his career. I seem to remember a Celtic player who was, I feel like, only here for the exhibition games. And I sent you the links to it. What was his name again?
Thomas Hamilton.
Thomas Hamilton. So I just Googled fat Celtic to try and
He was like 350.
figure out the name.
He was a big dude.
Thomas Hamilton. It was hysterical. I sent you this. So there's a bunch of images there of him. He wore number 30. And then there's a couple of him wearing 60. And he was like twice as big. And was that a joke? Or like
For double the number.
Like he quite literally, when he doubled the number, he doubled as a human being.
Times 2.
Massive human being, but like disgustingly fat. Like, dude, what are you doing? Do you want to be an NBA player or not?
Vin Baker in his stretch here. of
Vin
the Celtics.
Baker, another
he got
good one.
fat.
Yeah.
He did. He got fat, too. And like Buster Douglas, you remember him, the Hall
course.
of Fame?
Yeah, well, there's a million boxers.
Oh, God, the boxers all get huge. They get gigantic. And Buster Douglas won the heavyweight title and then looked like he swallowed Mike Tyson. Is what it looked like. He was absolutely enormous. Cost him the heavyweight title.
Fat. Sean Kemp is like notoriously as that guy.